Hey there, FES Team. How are ya? Jesse Rains, broadcasting from my home office here. Michael asked me to send you guys a little special video squawk. I want to first tell you how much I really appreciate all of your hard work and thank you for being the best part about Solar City. Truly, it's the employees like you who are the heartbeat of this company. It's always the underbelly of the company that always makes the biggest amount of change for this business. And being a part of a company that's the market leader, and knowing that you're in one of the best industries in the world at the moment, dedicating your life to absolute purpose, something that you can feel great about doing every day, is something that truly is a gift. And I think for that, we have to take a step back and just have a lot of gratitude in our heart about how wonderful it is to do something that hopefully each and every one of you that's watching this feels every single day. And I've been spending a lot of time out there in the field this week. I've had a couple meetings with some management teams. And, you will always hear me talk about on the squawks and in meetings about mindset. And what does mindset mean? And there are some people that could talk to you about mindset and think, well, it's kind of gimmicky just to say mindset. And I would be inclined to agree with that. And I thought, it might be of value to talk to you about, well, what does mindset really mean? And mindset, in my opinion, is the makeup that you have about your thought process and the language in your mind that you use about how you're walking through the world. And really, in between stimulus and response, the things that happen to you and how you respond to those things, is in the middle of that is called the freedom of choice. You really choose how you're going to respond to anything that happens to you in your life. And so mindset is about how are you going to respond and how are you going to go out there and tackle things? How are you going to set goals? And what is it that you're striving for every single day? But before you can do that, you've got to go deep inside yourself and ask yourself, what is important to me? Where do I want to be? And what might be getting in the way of me getting there? And you also have to go back to, well, what am I most afraid of? Like, what's your biggest fear professionally? What are you most concerned about? Go to that place in your mind and just think about it. Like, live there for a while and just think, what's the absolute worst thing that could happen to you personally? What's the absolute worst thing that could happen to you professionally? What's the absolute worst thing that could happen to you financially? And then you got to come back to present day and say, okay, well, where am I at now? That's the worst case scenario, but how am I doing now? And then think to yourself, where do you want to be? Where could you be? Like, what is your biggest dream of your professional desires? What's your biggest dream of where you want to be personally? What's your biggest dream of where you want to be financially? And I'm here to tell you that all of those things are right there in front of you. You can reach out and grab them if it's something that you really want, but you have to believe it. You have to use your fears as a benchmark to go, well, I'm not going to that place. But if you're motivated by fear, which many people are, it's not going to really help you get towards you want to go. Getting you to where do you want to go means you have to believe with 100% certainty that you can get there. And if you don't believe that, then of course you're not going to get there. You're going to become a victim. You're going to think that all of these things that are around you are preventing you from achieving that type of success that you think you later, mapped out for yourself. So when I talk about mindset, that's what I'm really talking about. I'm talking about going deep on yourself and saying, take ownership of the things in your life that you know are in your control. And now sometimes there are things that just aren't in our control, right? That's just life. So you can't get wrapped around the axle and those types of things. But there's so much more in our control than out of our control, yet we spend a lot of our time thinking about the things that are out of our control. And where do we spend that energy? Usually bitching and moaning about a lot of those things, right? Because it makes us feel better. But if you really think about it, how often in your life do you talk about the problem, but don't really talk about the solution? And that's something I've been talking to the managers about. I think a lot of times we focus on the problems because it's easy to bitch and moan about certain things that are happening to us in our life, right? But the reason we don't focus more on the solution is because that actually requires some effort on your part. That means that you actually have to take accountability and say, you know what? There's ownership in my part that I can do something different, and I'm here to tell you that you can. I know what you guys are doing every single day, standing in those stores, dealing with that type of rejection, people blowing you off. I know that that's not always easy. But you've got to go to your place in your heart and in your mind of why did you decide to do this? What is your purpose? What is your why? You have to tap into that, and you have to tap into it regularly, especially when you feel like you're hearing no a lot. The other thing you have to go to is, I'm going to hear no a lot. You're not there to hear yes. You're here to hear every single no to get you one step closer to that yes. And you have to have a really refined process. I'm here to tell you that you have to talk to every single person that walks through that door and walks by you. It's the law of probability. If you're trying to chase people around the store, that just won't work in my opinion. Because if you stand in one place, I think law of math and probability tells you that you have a greater chance of talking to more people by staying stationary than running around the store. And if you're not talking to every single person, then you're throwing off the math, because we all know that things come on streaks, right? You hear a bunch of no's, but then how often have you seen, like, you get a yes, and then you get another yes right after, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe I just got 2 yeses in 30 minutes. I've been here for 4 hours. I haven't gotten a single yes. The other thing is, you have to act with your heart and connect with your customers. You really have to show that you're sincere, and it's hard to do that when you have such a limited amount of time with your people. But if you genuinely care enough to help people and demonstrate to them that you do want to help them by asking really good questions, by being really considerate of their time, by prioritizing all of your questions to make sure that you're going to ask the most important question first before you can move on to the next question, because if they can't qualify, or if they're, you find out it wouldn't be a good fit for them, well, there's no reason talking about how awesome solar is for them if it doesn't even work for them. It's just a waste of their time, and that's disrespectful. It's also a waste of your time. So work smart. Prioritize your questions. Make sure you're following the script. Make sure that you are doing the same thing every single time. Use your creativity for painting or playing a playing a musical instrument, or playing golf or something like that. But when it comes to work and what you do, you have to be consistent. Consistently talk to everybody, consistently use the same script, and make sure you're consistently using similar objection handling. And of course, if you know about objection handling, it's all about following up with an open-ended question to really understand what's the real objection. Because just like you, just like me, we feel like we have a lot of things that are preventing us from getting to where we want. So too do our customers. They're programmed to say no. Your job is to unwind some of that program in a very short a time and just say, hey, if I could show you something that could, potentially save you some money, you're already doing this thing now, but it will help you long-term save money. Can you see any reason why you wouldn't just want to get that information, right? A lot of knowledge, a lot of power comes from getting the knowledge. That's what you're trying to ask your customers to do. So stay inspired about what you're doing. You've dedicated yourself to doing something very purposeful and something so great for the world. I'm grateful. I know that Hayes, Lyndon, Paul, Stephan, Denise Jones, they're all grateful for what you guys do every single day. We know you're out there on the front lines fighting the good fight. So thank you guys very much for everything you guys do. Remember, it's all up here. What do you want to avoid, and where do you want to go? And I'm here to tell you that you can achieve anything that you absolutely want to do if you actually get real with yourself and ask yourself, what is in my way? What am I creating? And how do I come up with the solutions to get around it? Personally, professionally, and financially, you can achieve all those things. So, hey, get out there, rock it out. I'm so grateful you're on the team. Boss Team rocks. Let's go. Inland Empire, one of the greatest areas in the world. No doubt, one of the greatest areas in the world to sell this product. Peace out, guys. Appreciate everything you do.